The evolution of the B-17 Flying Fortress. The development of the B-17 Flying Fortress began well before the outbreak of World War II. During the early 1930s, the United States Army Air Corps recognized the need for a long-range, four-engine bomber capable of defending the country in the event of an enemy attack, particularly from distant locations such as Hawaii, Alaska, or the Panama Canal. To meet this requirement, Boeing developed the first prototype in 1935. By 1937, a small-scale production run was underway, ensuring that when the United States entered the war in 1941, a growing fleet of these aircraft was already in service. The nickname Flying Fortress was coined by a reporter in 1935, who, upon seeing the prototype bristling with defensive machine guns, remarked that it resembled a fortress in the sky. Over the years, the B-17 underwent numerous upgrades, beginning with the Model 299 prototype. The first significant production variant, the B-17B, took flight in 1939. Throughout the war, the aircraft was continually improved with more powerful engines, additional defensive armaments, and other enhancements to increase its performance and survivability. The final and most widely produced version, the B-17G, saw over 8,600 units manufactured before production ceased, contributing to a total of approximately 12,700 Flying Fortresses built. While Boeing was the primary manufacturer, Douglas Aircraft and Vega, a subsidiary of Lockheed, also contributed to production. Beyond its role as a strategic bomber, the B-17's airframe was adapted for several specialized roles. These included the YB-40, an escort variant equipped with additional machine guns, the C-108, a cargo transport version, and the F-9, a reconnaissance aircraft, among others. The B-17G measured 74 feet 9 inches in length, with a wingspan just under 104 feet and a height of 19 feet 1 inch. Its empty weight was approximately 36,000 pounds, but when fully loaded with bombs, ammunition, and other equipment, it could exceed 65,000 pounds. Constructed primarily from aluminum, the aircraft was significantly lighter than if it had been made from steel, improving its efficiency and range. Powered by 4 Wright R1820 Cyclone 9-cylinder radial engines, each producing around 1,200 horsepower, the B-17G had a top speed of approximately 300 miles per hour, though it typically cruised at 170 to 200 miles per hour. Its operational ceiling was 35,000 feet, and it featured a fuel capacity of 2,800 gallons, granting it a range of approximately 2,000 miles, though this varied depending on bomb load, weather conditions, and other factors. As a bomber, the B-17G typically carried a payload of 6,000 pounds of bombs, though this could be increased to 8,000 pounds depending on the mission. In some cases, external bomb racks were fitted, allowing for a maximum payload exceeding 17,000 pounds. However, this significantly reduced the aircraft's operational range and was rarely employed. The defensive armament of the B-17G included 13.50 caliber machine guns strategically placed around the aircraft to provide all-around protection. These included nose-mounted chin turret, dorsal turret, waist, ball turret, and tail guns. Due to weight limitations, each gun had a limited supply of ammunition, requiring gunners to be precise and economical in their firing. A typical B-17 crew consisted of 10 men, a pilot, co-pilot, bombardier, who also operated the chin turret, navigator, who manned the cheek guns, flight engineer, responsible for the dorsal turret, radio operator, 2 waist gunners, a ball turret gunner, and a tail gunner. Operating at high altitudes without pressurized cabins, the crew relied on oxygen masks to prevent hypoxia and wore electrically heated wool-lined flight suits to combat freezing temperatures. Communication was facilitated by an intercom system. To ensure accurate high-altitude bombing, the B-17 was equipped with the Norden bombsight, which entered production in 1932 as a replacement for earlier models. The bombardier controlled the aircraft during the bombing run, using the bombsight's integrated gyro-stabilized aiming system and automated bomb release mechanism to ensure precision. However, despite claims that the Norden bombsight could drop a bomb in a pickle barrel, the chaos of combat meant that bombing accuracy was often inconsistent, necessitating large formations of bombers to maximize effectiveness. Like many World War II aircraft, B-17 crews developed strong attachments to their bombers, giving them names and decorating their noses with artwork. These ranged from humorous and risque illustrations to sentimental tributes, adding a personal touch to the aircraft and boosting morale. The B-17 played a crucial role in the war, serving in nearly every theatre where the US Army Air Corps operated. While highly regarded by crews for its durability and reliability, bombing missions, especially over German-occupied Europe, were incredibly dangerous. B-17S flew in tight formations called combat boxes, allowing their defensive armament to provide overlapping fields of fire. Despite this, early in the war, they often operated beyond the range of fighter escorts, making them vulnerable to enemy aircraft. Tales of B-17A returning home with severe damage, missing tails, inoperable engines, or large holes in their fuselage became legendary, cementing the aircraft's reputation for resilience. However, these missions came at a high cost. Of the 12,700 B-17S built, over 4,700 were lost in combat, representing a staggering 37% loss rate. In 1943, the average life expectancy of a B-17 and its crew was approximately 11 missions, far below the 25 required to complete a tour of duty. Despite these losses, sustained bombing campaigns severely impacted German industry and war production. Lessons learned from B-17 operations ultimately led to the development of the B-29 Superfortress, which rendered the B-17 obsolete by the end of the war. Although the B-17 was gradually phased out after the war, many continued to serve into the 1950s in roles such as reconnaissance, training, and cargo transport. Today, only a few dozen B-17 SEE remain preserved in museums, with only a handful still airworthy. However, due to safety concerns, most have been grounded, marking the end of the operational history of one of the most iconic aircraft ever to take to the skies.